Welcome back to another episode of Content Amplified. Today I'm joined by Jonathan. Jonathan, welcome to the show.
Hi, Benjamin. So good to be here.
Jonathan, I'm excited. Thank you for taking the time. This is a subject we have never covered on the podcast, and I am so excited for it. But before we dive into the exciting subject, let's get to know you. Tell us about your background and work history.
Yeah, so I'm Jonathan Marciano. I'm VP of Brand and Content at DataRails, which is a B2B SaaS platform for the CFO's office. Please don't tune out when you hear CFO's office, because I promise you it's going to be interesting what we talk about and very relatable. My background is I actually started as a journalist in the UK. And from there, learning, how to write, how to understand your audience. And from there, I moved to PR, where I worked for the UK government, doing PR for kind of a business department. And then EY, Ernst & Young in the UK, but, doing global PR for them. And then more recently, I've, been in the startup space, so creating brands from scratch. And that's kind of brought me to DataRails, which is, the FP&A solution for Excel users. People in the finance team, as you must be aware, love Excel. So it's a ripe area for our content.
Love it. Jonathan, today we're going to talk about something you've done. You launched a mascot for the CFO office. Why? What? Tell us a little bit more about this.
Yeah. So first of all, brand mascots, you probably know brand mascots from, Kellogg's, Tony the Tiger, all of the Meerkat, if you're kind of from the UK or Australia, or, Geico, the Gecko. So these are all, B2C companies have long known that, you tell great stories with a character. Unfortunately, B2B companies haven't really, picked that particular, learning up. The notable exception being Salesforce, which has Astro and friends who help to tell about their CRM through the use of a mascot. So yeah, DataRails in our social media and on LinkedIn, we'd always leaned into humor, relatability, and the quirks and the day-to-day ups and downs of being in finance. Whether it's dealing with marketing and their insane requests for money, or people confusing what FP&A does versus what an accountant does, to, these kinds of daily challenges of marketing that we kind of lead into with memes. And, we've got a very rapidly growing following on social media. We actually just won Global Social Media Awards, best content for LinkedIn. So a little plug for ourselves. And anyway,
Congratulations. That's amazing.
Yeah. So we're really leaning into creativity and innovation. And for me, it was just a natural, it's kind of something I wanted to do for a long time, inspired by, Duolingo, Duo the Owl. And so basically, so we wanted to create a brand mascot, and in a super sort of niche area of FP&A, financial planning and analysis, which is kind of the part of the CFO's team that does, budgeting, analysis, forecasting, scenario planning, variance analysis, all within kind of Excel, and of course DataRails, which is our platform. And we wanted to give them the character that they could root for. So we worked with an agency. We worked with an agency called Shortcut Playground, and they've created a 3D character for us. We worked, to develop his story and his quirks. So his name is Bob Sheetner. There's a lot of plays on Excel here. As Bob Sheetner, he's 45. He works for Packer Corporation. He's also a podcast host, actually. So he's a bit of an influencer. He has his own LinkedIn page. He's delivers his hot takes on the world of FP&A. So he featured in our debut video last week. Check it out, where we introduced the character, and he speaks to the FP&A director of Sheethauser Industries as his first podcast guest. And so beyond that, so we launched this character as an animated character, but we've also got an excellent artist who created a mascot suit for us. So we have a walking F panda. I should make clear that he's an F panda because it's an acronym of financial planning and analysis, which is FP&A, so F panda. So we have this walking mascot that we introduced to the world last week, and he started to feature sort of in daily reels, sending up parts of the world of finance, daily challenges, hopping on TikTok trends, talking about Excel, talking about the marketing monkeys, talking about all the challenges and opportunities that FP&A face. So we're having a lot of fun with him.
Okay, I love this. This is so cool. First of all, I love the creativity. Second of all, I love the concept of a mascot. And I'm curious because I've seen this in previous businesses. A lot of B2B businesses, they'll use founders and things like that to be kind of their, not their mascots per se, but like the thought leader, the person that's behind the microphone, all of that kind of stuff, because they're afraid that someone else in the business might leave. They don't want their brand to be associated with an individual in case that something happens. But now you have a mascot. So, like, you can have this ever present individual and persona that can be out there. Is that a part of the reason you did that so it can kind of ever be present?
Exactly. Like, yeah, we could, hire George Clooney. We couldn't hire George Clooney because we couldn't afford him, but we could hire someone like George Clooney, but he, would ask for more money or he retire. But here we've got a character that's forever, data rails. Some of these brand mascots are, 50 or even 100 years old. They don't ask for more money. They don't leave. It kind of, you can use them in whichever way. They can develop, they can evolve, and they work. I think is also an important thing. Like studies show that what's called, fluent devices that people remember characters or over. You've been in, B2B, SaaS for a long time, and you kind of look at a few websites, and everything kind of starts, looking very similar after a while. So if one of our person about to buy an FP&A software vaguely remembers that we're the panda people and they kind of had a half of a smile or a joke, or a laugh about it, then they're more likely to choose our software over another. And that's really kind of what we're trying to do with the brand is, create positive associations with the brand when it comes to, a buying situation. And, the like LinkedIn B2B Institute found that, 57% of ads, basically people don't know who served the ad. So the opportunities to be different, to differentiate in a market is super important. And I think it probably goes back to something I'm sure a lot of your guests have said that, even though we're in B2B, we're still, selling to humans. They've got kids. They've, grown up with characters. They like a humorous story. I think one CFO said to me, we watch Succession and, we like memes and all of this. They're just the same as everyone else. It's, pretty stressful time at work. So anything you can do to provide a bit of entertainment. And also we're showing with, literally a character called Bob Sheetner, who's an F Panda that, we see our target audience and we're catering for them, to them.
Okay, I love it. So, how deep does the mascot go? Is the mascot going to be in the product or in the product, on the website, explainer videos, social media accounts? Like, how far are you taking the mascot when it comes to content creation and thought?
That's a great question. Yeah, so he's on the website. He has his landing page on the website, and we've just started rolling out his TikToks and his Reels and his own. It's growing very fast as an influencer. He's up to like 300 or something followers after a week. So he's growing big and getting a cult following. And yeah, eventually the idea is, we started doing ads with Bob Sheetner. One ad is like, don't be a spreadsheet monkey, be an F Panda. Another is, we remove, the dark eyes of a panda by reducing your stress. So he's like we'll use him as we launch. We'll still do the heavy lifting of launching a product and explaining what it does, but there'll be an opportunity for, Bob at Packer Corporation to show how he's using, a month-end close solution or a cash solution or an FP&A solution to, be an impactful F Panda, be an impactful, CFO that, goes on and, creates change in their organization, delivers insights. So that's kind of, Bob is exactly the kind of, career climbing panda, F Panda that we would want to use data rails. So he's the proper fit for us.
I love that. So, with artificial intelligence, have you kind of already built like a custom GPT or something like that with Bob's unique personality and viewpoints and started to use that for content? Or what are you doing to generate some of that?
So yeah, we have GPT for Bob's character. As people have been like commenting on Bob or making comments, like he's got a bit of a sassy, been there, seen it, done it kind of personality. So he'll respond to you if you at him on LinkedIn. We obviously it's not quite there yet, and we kind of know FP&A a little bit more than the GPTs. Tweak it a bit. We're not just cutting and pasting, but it definitely helps to he's been built with all of Bob's experiences and FP&A's experiences and the campaign and what we're trying to do. So we definitely use that a little bit. But also whenever we, see something in the real world, we'll turn it into the universe of our F Panda and do a reel or do an ad so it's coming from the real world.
That's cool. So, with artificial intelligence, do you see one day Bob actually hosting his own podcast episodes where like it's video and all sorts of stuff. Like, how far do you think you're going to take this?
Yeah, I mean, we could say, I'm sure we could do that now. It could be done. Whether people will, want to watch, 15 minutes of a panda doing episode, I don't know. At the moment, it's little, clips of humor. So we're going to do, and then the next stage is Bob interviewing some influencers in the FP&A space, and it'll probably be like 1 minute or something in terms of him asking a question, the influencer answering it, realizing he's being, interviewed by a F Panda, and that's kind of the joke. And getting these, FP&A influencers to share it, and kind of the novelty of seeing, an F Panda interviewing, top names in finance will be fun. Maybe we'll get to a time when we'll listen to a 45-minute episode, but that's, I think people still like humans. Some things.
Yeah, I love it. Very cool. So we're running out of time. These episodes go by quick, but for anyone who is thinking, I haven't thought about this idea of having a mascot for my B2B business. Do you recommend it so far? What considerations did you put into the process? What do you recommend people kind of go through to decide if something like this is a fit for their business?
So yeah, I mean the data like shows you should, because brand devices work and people remember characters. And there's an amazing like rock solid B2B use case in Salesforce which does it. It's like a platform for you to insert all of your kind of great ideas, but it's it's an investment. It's a lot of work, and it's also like you want to like build on this character in this universe, and you need to obviously get executive buy-in. Um, it's fun. I mean, if you've kind of, if you've ever enjoyed the, Duolingo Reels or anything like that, you can see the impact of, what a mascot can do and how it can tell stories. And obviously, it's a great thing that we, can take to conferences, and start to gain him a following. He's part of the brand, and long may he live.
That's very cool. I love that. So when you look at it, what are the additional costs that it, requires to have? Obviously, you worked with this agency. They helped you come up with the idea. They did, you said 3D and all that kind of stuff. On an ongoing basis, if you want to make an ad, how are you putting that character into it? Do you have in-house resources that can make that? What does that kind of look
Yeah,
like?
yeah. I mean, it's not a huge amount. Like, I mean, we have an amazing, puppet mascot, really like amazing creative designer who does a lot of things for movies. Really like reasonable cost for what we're getting. The video was, the cost of a 3D animated video in their creative time. Again, not crazy. And once you've done the hardest part is creating the character, because once you've created the character and you've rigged it on 3D, if you've rigged it and it's all there, then much easier after the first work and approval to start making more videos with if you're doing 3D. And literally the mascot is available and ready for our in-house videographer to film. We have an actor that's been in the suit, and we have filming days where we film 7 or 8 reels in a day, and we're posting them daily. And it's a great chance for us to explore like the humor and creativity of FP&A. If we can do it in the CFO's office, I think anyone can do it.
I love that. That's so cool. So in the show notes, we're going to link to a lot of this stuff.
That would
So
be
we'll link
awesome.
to reels and all sorts of fun stuff so people can get a good taste of this. This is amazing. Jonathan, if anyone wants to reach out and connect with you online, how and where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on, Jonathan Marciano on LinkedIn. That's probably the best. Connect with Bob Sheetner, also on LinkedIn. He's always up for a chat, especially about FP&A or Excel models. He's always happy to talk. Follow our reels. I'd love to, help anyone who's thinking about moving in this direction. I did a lot of the hard work. I can tell you about, shipping a panda to a different country and all of these kind of things that no one told you about. Get a creative designer in your home country or your home city so that you can kind of supervise the work. That's a good tip. Yeah, happy to help anyone with the journey.
I love it. Jonathan, this has been a fascinating discussion. I'm so excited for what you're doing. Literally, when I get off of this podcast, I'm going to go follow Bob. I'm excited for this. This is so cool. Thank you so much for the time and insights today. Really do appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much, Benjamin. Thank you.